Alright, so I'm not a professional welder by any stretch of the imagination, but I lent out my pressure washer and they brought it back with the frame broke, so I was going to weld it back together. So here I am in the shop, and I'm welding it. Man, I just got the most beautiful bead going, and well, I forgot to, cover up the engine. Well, some gas had fallen down on, so while I was welding, a spark fell down and caught the gas tank on fire. Now, I don't know this. I've still got my helmet on. Whoa! Well, now I know it's on fire. So now I'm blowing on it, and it's not putting the fire out. So then I run and I get a fireproof blanket, which I should have used to begin with, and that's not putting it out. So I throw the pressure washer out into the driveway, and then in my shop I have fire extinguishers about every 5 feet. Hit it with the fire extinguisher, and the fire is out. So this is just cautionary tale. If you're working on stuff, first, don't weld on something full of gas, and also, have a fire extinguisher close by. Alright, so this is something a little different that we're doing. My son is getting ready to start driving, and what he wanted was a vintage square body Chevy pickup. So we found one. This is literally a barn find. It has not run in 6 years or so. The guy that had it was using it just to block the barn door so nobody could get in and get his tractors. So anyway, he pulled it out of the way to move a tractor, and it drove, and then he couldn't get it started again. So we got this for a incredible deal, and man, you can see it is just, there is mold. There is just, here, we'll just, so you can see, look how clean that window is. You can see the dirt. I wouldn't be surprised if there are a few critters in here that we got to take care of, although right now it's so cold it may not, but you can see just what we're gonna have to do here to clean it. The steering column is real loose. Here, I'll show you. Look at that play in that. So we're gonna have to do that. The truck has 124,000 miles on it. So last night we brought out the ozone generator and ran it in here to kill the mold, and we ran it on 2 cycles, so it is probably good and dead. And so today, while I'm at work, Patrick is going to just going to give this a real good bath and at least clean up the outside of it. And then sometime later, he and I will have to figure out how to get this thing running again. So the theory right now is that it's a bad fuel pump, but it could be that. It could be a lot of things. We know we got to fix the steering wheel, and then we'll do some tests to find out if it is the fuel pump, maybe a relay. I have no clue. The fuel has been sitting in there for a long time, so we're probably gonna have to drain the tank anyway. So we may need to take it out and clean the tank, but we don't know. So that's part of this fun, is him restoring this. So we'll bring you along as we do this. So let's get to it. Well, when we got the truck, there was a lot of the stuff we had to do to it. We needed to clean it up really good. Patrick gave it a good pressure wash on the outside. We got on the inside, removed the bench seat. We vacuumed it, steam cleaned the carpets. Then we dropped the tank. You can see the fuel pump there has just disintegrated, so we took that out and replaced that. Patrick also rebuilt the throttle body. He took it out, replaced all the seals and all of the gaskets. We took the injectors out, soaked those in some injector cleaner. That cleaned everything up. You can see the connectors there, the terminals. We put a Noid light on those. We verified there's a pulse coming to the injectors. We replaced a belt. We replaced a number of other things. Matter of fact, here's a list of what we did. We fixed the steering wheel, dropped the tank and cleaned it, new fuel pump, rebuilt the throttle body, injectors, new spark plugs, rotor and distributor, EGR, PCV, replaced vacuum sensors, new map sensor, new O2 sensor, new starter, new battery. We did all of that, and this is what we ended up with. So for the life of me, that sounds like everything was trying to work. I got a spark tester. The spark worked. There was spark going to the plug wires. The injectors were firing, so we had fuel. It was really it's just so tough to diagnose, pulling my hair out. And finally what we did was we took the distributor cap off. We found top dead center. We just did an initial timing process, put the distributor cap back on, loosened the hold down nut a little bit, and just kind of barely adjusted the timing on the distributor cap until finally the engine fired off and we locked it down, and this is what it sounds like now. It's alive! Time to crank it. Once we got it started, we noticed a lot of white smoke coming out of the tailpipe. I figured that might have been a timing issue, or it was running too rich. But when I smelled the smoke and it smelled a little bit sweet, I knew that we had a coolant leak. So to determine what kind of coolant leak we had, I did the following. All right, so on our Chevy 350 here, we have a sneaky suspicion that we may have a compression leak. We might have a leaking head gasket. And so typically what you see is white smoke coming out of the tailpipe. But just logically thinking, if water is getting into the exhaust, then exhaust is getting into the water. And so what we can do is we can actually test that to see exactly what's going on and why the engine is giving us white smoke and rule out certain things. So this kit you can pick up at O'Reilly's or AutoZone or Advance, and what it is this little test tube thing here. This goes in on the top. You hook this hose to a known vacuum line, and it's going to pull vacuum into here, and then you're going to put this over the radiator cap, or the radiator hole on top of the radiator itself. So you're going to take the cap off, you set it aside, and what you end up doing is putting this down into the radiator, hooking this up to a vacuum, and it's going to pull air from the system into this. And you put this indicator fluid into here, and this stuff is blue, and if it senses exhaust gas in the coolant system, it will turn from blue to yellow. So what we'll do right now is we will put that into here. We'll fill it up to the line. Now we'll put the cap on this. I'm going to hook this up to a known vacuum line, which comes up here to the charcoal canister, and we can just hook that up there. So now all we're going to do is just crank up the car or the truck, and we're going to look and see if any of that turns blue. So far we're still blue, but it's turning a little shade of yellow.
Turning yellow. It's yellow.
Safe to say that we have a compression leak somewhere in this engine. We're going to have to deal with it. Hopefully we can get some mechanic in a can. Stop leak. Maybe that'll help us. Well, we know there's a leak in there. All right, so there we go. We know that we have a compression leak. We have a bad head gasket probably. So the first thing we're going to try is some mechanic in a can to put in the system. So we'll drain this entire system out. We'll put that in. We'll follow the instructions, and we'll see if that seals up that leak.